And I think that was why we wanted to start with her, because why not start with the one that you can gush about the whole time? Bae Doona. She's been our favorites forever, right?
But even before we started
that's what I was going to say.
K-dramas for you.
For me. When did you first discover? I first discovered her in Sense8.
I watched the first episode of Sense8 and I didn't really get into it.
Oh.
And then when I started watching K-dramas and we watched Stranger, I was like, and you were just gushing about her in Sense8. So I went back and did my own supercut and just watched just Bae Doona's scenes. I'm sorry. I know that show was a massive hit globally, but I
honestly, I watched the first episode like you did and was like, it's not working for me because it just wasn't. And then I dropped it. And then my sister watched it and got really into it and was like, she's like, you need to keep watching. And so I was like, all right, I'm not doing anything. And so I like binge watched to like episode 3. Mm-hmm. And then I was all in. Like I just binged the rest of it. And Pak Sung she was the greatest. She was amazing. So if you haven't watched Sense8 is like about these 8 people who were all born exactly at the same time. And so they are kind of mind meld linked. And so they can kind of step into each other's existence. It's a Wachowski thing. So definitely, it's going to be a little bit out there. But she plays she is Pak Sun and she is a chaebol daughter. But she is linked, but she's also a like underground like martial arts fighter. She was amazing.
I mean, I definitely noticed her because obviously like when you have an Asian person, never mind someone who is Korean in a show, like that's a big deal. I mean, I'm Filipina, but whenever you see any sort of representation, you're like, who is that? And I didn't know who she was, but then I couldn't really attach to the show. But then when I went back, I was like, oh, I understand what's happening here.
Yeah. Like she was amazing. She was the best character in the whole.
Yes, so totally agree with that.
She was amazing. And so that was my first. And then when we got into K-dramas and I saw her in Stranger, I was like,
that show is a revelation because it's a procedural. She plays a cop. Mm-hmm. And our detective, she goes up against she partners with a detective played by.
He's a prosecutor, actually.
Oh, he's a prosecutor. Yeah. I'm sorry. She's the cop.
She's the detective.
She's the detective.
Yeah. And it was with where's his name? I just had
Cho Sung-woo.
Cho Sung-woo. Yes, Cho Sung-woo.
And he plays for a musical theater actor. He played a very, very low key prosecutor who had a lobotomy when he was a child.
Basically, that's what it was. Yeah.
So, it is a K-drama, but she was a whole different kind of cop, a whole different kind of detective. They had a different kind of relationship, and it was a really solid crime drama.
Yeah, absolutely. And then what was interesting for me, and then she had the season 2 of Stranger. Season 1 and season 2 of Stranger, and to get ready for this podcast, I went and rewatched Stranger 2. Wow. And there is something about I guess I noticed it originally in Sense8, but we've watched her for so much. But there is a naturalness about her acting that is just, watching her act is effortless. She is so good.
That's a really good point. She's different than other K-drama actresses. And I mean, she's done a lot of Western films. She did Cloud Atlas. Mm-hmm. She did
Jupiter Ascending and Sense8, all Wachowskis.
Yes.
So she's like a Wachowski girl.
Yes. Yeah. And she's, fashion icon, Louis Vuitton model. What do they call them? Muse.
Yeah.
So she's
ambassadors.
She like literally, she operates on a whole different level.
Yes, like that's it. Like it's almost like the rest of us are just like it's her world. We just live in it because she just is so above it that nothing seems to faze her. It's amazing watching her work.
She's beautiful, but she's not classically beautiful. No, yeah. She's so physical in almost all her roles.
Yes.
Yeah.
The way she just acts, like even just like smiling at someone or just everything just feels like she's almost actually living that moment. Mm-hmm. It's just, she's just so good.
Very natural actor.
Yeah. which I think is where she ran into a problem with Kingdom.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So being Westerners who don't speak the language, although you're studying
Yes.
Hangul, there was criticism for her performance in Kingdom because it felt like she was too contemporary, too modern for this period piece, even though it's it's Joseon era with zombies, so it's not real.
Right.
It's not a historical documentary, but
I think it had something to do with her. And again, when you go back and you watch it, like if you started to study Korean a little bit, like you kind of notice it a little bit, but I think it was her cadence with the it's almost like Shakespeare.
Right.
And so if someone who has all the, modern vernacular and is trying to do like, I don't know Shakespeare lines.
No,
but
it's like Keanu Reeves in Much Ado About Nothing.
And I love Keanu Reeves. Yes.
So do I, but
right?
Yes.
Exactly. Like you've got this kind of like, there's a cadence that isn't quite happening there. And I think she did run into a little bit of that problem.
Yeah.
She is such a modern, natural actor, but I still loved her in Kingdom.
Kingdom. Let's talk about Kingdom. Oh my God. Sobi. Yes. And so, but we were waiting for her to kick ass at some point.
Right.
So she did in a different kind of way.
Yes. With her mind.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I loved that she was the smartest person in the room at all times.
Yeah.
It did not matter where she was or who she was in front of.
Yeah.
She was smarter than every single person there.
That's right. So she was a doctor helping the prince, played by Ju Ji-yoon, as they battled and tried to find the source for a cure against these hordes of zombies.
And what was the cure, Marisa?
Ice water.
Ice water.
Yeah.
Yes. It's kind of like, it worked. It worked in the story. But it was kind of like, what was that movie that came out and it was like, air? What? What are you talking about? Or maybe it was water again. You're just like, wait, what? They're allergic to water? This planet is like 75% water. Like, it was just hilarious.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, that show was a ride. And if you're new to Bae Doona or you haven't watched Kingdom, or you've been zombie averse and you haven't been ready to dive in, but now you're ready, you get to binge 2 seasons instead of, how long did we wait in between?
I want to say a year, if not longer.
I think it was longer than a year.
And the way
painful.
that series season 1 ended,
that was, and because there were only 6 episodes.
Yeah, and they were like 40 minutes each.
Yeah.
It was brutal. It was such a long wait.
Yeah.
But yeah, her in Kingdom, but there was a moment where she went to Bae Doona Sunback mode, and she has this flaming cape that she wraps around her and takes the baby and leaps through a window through all the zombies. It was amazing, and I think all of our little Bae Doona hearts just exploded with joy.
Yeah.
And how she saved, what was his name? That was my other favorite part in season 2. Was it 2? No, it was 1. No, it was 2. Season 2, when she saved the magistrate.
Oh yeah.
in the cell.
Oh, that's
and then
right.
Then he had a crush on her, and then she told him he had syphilis.
That's right. Yeah, he was a big baby, and she could outsmart any creature coming after her, whether it was a magistrate or whether it was a zombie.
There's just something about her that is just so
she's down to earth for someone who's like fashion model, successful actress, superstar.
Yeah.
What is that?
I don't know. It's amazing. Like even watching Stranger Season 2 again. Like she's playing like what's the word I'm looking for? Like she's not the PowerPoint person. She is like what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of it right now. Thank you, subordinate. She's playing a subordinate, and you believe it 110%.
Oh yeah.
We're like when we just got done watching Jiri-san, and Jun Ji-hyun was playing a subordinate. I was like, I'm not really sure I'm buying this. I'm not really sure I'm buying that she's got a boss. Like, I'm having a hard time with that. And there's just a different cadence to her. Like I truly and fully believe that she's like listening to her Sunbae and like taking orders, and at no point is she going to not listen to them. Like it's a fascinating thing, really. Because it's hard. That status thing is hard sometimes. Yeah. Especially in certain roles.
Yeah. Because that's also in Kingdom. because even though she's a doctor, she's a woman in Joseon era, and we're talking about you're dealing with a king, like he's in charge of everybody. Yeah. And yet she's somewhat equal to him and reverential, but not in a supplication kind of way. So but yeah, totally believable. Can you tell we just love her so much?
She's our favorite. I mean, she's at least my favorite.
Yeah, this is a podcast of us just gushing about her.
And I think that was why we wanted to start with her, because why not start with the one that you can gush about the whole time? Like even in Matrimonial Chaos, which at first when we started watching it, we were like, I mean, it's good, it's fun, it was kind of her first that I'd seen her in, which was like a relationship drama,
contemporary relationship drama about a couple of couples dealing with marriage problems.
Yeah. Which it was a little bit like, it really wasn't what I was expecting from Bae Doona, but it reunited her with Detective Moon from Sense8, so I was all in.
Sensaku. He's a man.
I mean, Baeksung and Detective Moon were everything for us in the Sense8 fandom.
Yes.
Oh my God, we were so happy.
Yes, like that, how that relationship built was really... It's almost like he was laughing at himself the entire time, going, I'm obviously falling for her.
Right.
And I'm going to try to take her down. And that's not going to work.
No.
But I love her.
That whole ritual fight / mating dance in the cemetery.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and then since Sense8, we've seen that cemetery in almost every K-drama. And I'm like, that's the Sense8 cemetery. It's hilarious. So yes, it all comes back to Sense8.
Yeah. So in Matrimonial Chaos, they are not together, but then there's a moment. But
I feel like they were just doing like fan service teasing on that one.
That totally was. Yeah. That totally was. But that. I don't know. That's a tough show to recommend.
Yeah.
I don't think it did well ratings wise, Matrimonial Chaos, and it's hard to see. I mean, so many K dramas are, they're geared towards women.
Yeah. And
that's why you have this structure of male lead, female lead. They're going to get together. Yeah. It's like a romance novel. You know where this is going, and it's the journey that gets you there.
Exactly. Is the story of the journey satisfying?
Yeah. And you know how it's going to end. Although occasionally, not so much anymore, there's K-dramas, someone always used to die.
Right. I'm really glad that's no longer a thing.
I'm not
sure I would have stuck with them.
I know, or go away for years. But yeah, there's definitely a romance draw to K-dramas, and Matrimonial Chaos was not that. It was a hard,
sell.
Realistic look at relationships and people being unfaithful. Actually, that's the big thing.
That's what it was. Yeah.
A lot of viewers, and I get it. You don't morally, you cannot side with anyone who's cheating. And how do you root for anyone? And you don't want to see it.
Yeah.
So
it was hard. It was a tough one for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was Bae Doona, so we all watched it.
Right.
Okay, so.
And there were kittens.
Oh my God, that's right, the kittens.
Yeah. There were kitty cats in there. Oh, I love that.
There was some good stuff in there. And there was some. So there was definitely some positives for sure.
Oh yeah.
I'm not sure I'd recommend it for a binge though.
No, I don't know.
Okay, so since we're gushing about Bae Doona. We have a new drama coming out for her that is about to drop. As we're recording this, The Silent Sea has not dropped yet. It's about to drop. We're going to be coming back with another podcast to talk about it, so please stay tuned. But holy hell, I'm so excited. The Silent Sea with Gong Yoo and some of our other favorite character actors in K-drama land.
That's right. We have
and so they are like a Korean space team that goes to the moon and to basically extract another space station type thing is how I'm understanding the trailer. And they get there and it's kind of like Alien and The Thing combined because everyone's dead on the space station, and then they have to figure out what's happening before they end up in the same fate, and I cannot wait.
So at this point with the trailers, I haven't seen enough about what the relationships are between
Right.
people, because one of our favorite character actresses, Kim Sun-young, is in it, and she was in, if you guys have seen Crash Landing on You, she was one of the North Korean ajumas, and she was also in When the Camellia Blooms. Like, those are two of the bigger ones. So I'm really,
and she's a doctor, I think, on that. I think that's her role in this one.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to her and Bae Doona sharing the screen together. I think, right?
It's gonna be so
good. Yeah.
Because Bae Doona is one of those women that also really shines with other women. Like, they develop a bond, and there's something about the girl power that ends up happening when she starts playing with them. Like, especially like in Stranger 2. What was her name? She's one of our favorites, and I don't have her name right in front of me.
John Hae-jin.
Yes, John Hae-jin.
Yeah.
Like, John Hae-jin, like, they just play off each other so well, and they both kind of support each other. And even when they don't agree, there's still this kind of respect, and there's just something the way she plays in that. And even in Kingdom, the way she plays against the queen, even though it's like, you know, the queen's gonna have her killed, there still is this amazing these moments, and then the queen ends up playing her sister in Matrimonial Chaos.
Yeah, fun fact.
Yeah, and it's just. There's just something. It's just she connects. She connects so well with everybody she plays against, especially the women. It's just it's so good. And then her and Gong Yoo.
Oh my god!
Like, I'm not even shipping it, but I would not say no to that.
There's some K-drama superstars. Yeah. Have they worked together before?
I don't think so. Not in my understanding.
How did that happen?
Right?
How did that Hallyu wave build without the two of them working together? So my goodness, maybe they did a film together.
Maybe I'm not well versed on many of her films, but I don't think they have. Like, she wasn't. Yeah, I don't think so. As I'm looking through this real quick, these don't look. None of these strike me as a Gong Yoo one.
So you can also find us on Twitter and Instagram. So talk to us there and let us know what we're missing, because I'm surprised they haven't worked together before.
This is gonna be so. Oh my god. I'm so excited. I mean, just the star power alone in it. And
in space.
And in space, which also makes me so happy. So you make it sci-fi. And then, listen, if we just diverge a little bit, but Gong Yoo's got this huge neck tattoo, which, come on. Listen, stop. Gong Yoo, you stop.
That's a Christmas present.
Right? Okay, so as we wrap this up, so obviously we love Bae Doona here, and we can't wait for more. But if you had to recommend one, what would you recommend?
Kingdom? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's epic. There's zombies. She's a doctor.
Yeah.
There is terror. There is an obstacle that they have to overcome, and it's just a ride for all of those episodes.
It really is. I think I would second that. Though I will say, if Sense8 was a K-drama, I would totally say Sense8.
Yeah.
Because she was.
Well, it is if you don't watch any of the other storylines.
It does become a K-drama. So, maybe we'll go with it that way. It is. They are actually in Seoul, so it does. Her scenes do take place in Seoul, so it is technically a Korean drama.
Rip the show into just the parts that we want.
So I would say that. But for a series, Kingdom was just. It was just a ride.
Loved it.
So good. Oh my god. Bae Doona, we love you.
We do. We love you so much.
All right, guys. Well, I think that's it. Like, we just wanted to kind of start sharing our thoughts on different actors, and we're going to start doing some finales and shows in general. And that's kind of what we're going to start doing with this podcast. So let us know what you'd want to hear us talk about or kind of dig a little deeper on. Until then, we are the K3. I'm Jen.
I'm Marie saying thank you for being a part of this. We love talking to you, and be sure to find us on Twitter and Instagram. And you can also support us at Ko-fi.com/the-K3.
And if you're listening to this as a podcast, you can check us out on YouTube. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you can check us out on all the podcasting streaming sites. We're there. If you can take us with you on any of your commutes. So until next time, bye.
Bye.